Have you ever felt like your body just doesn't bounce back the way it used to? Like even after a full night's rest, you're still feeling tired? Or maybe your clothes fit tighter around the waist, even though your eating habits haven't really changed. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And it might not just be age. It could be your liver quietly waving a white flag asking for a little help. Now, I know the liver isn't something most of us think about every day. It just quietly works in the background, filtering toxins, digesting fats, storing nutrients, until something goes wrong. And one of the most common problems, especially for people over 60, is something called fatty liver. It doesn't always cause symptoms at first, but over time, it can sap your energy, affect your digestion, and even lead to serious health issues like liver failure or diabetes. But here's the good news. You don't need to wait for a diagnosis or rely on medications to start protecting your liver. One of the most powerful things you can do is something you already do every single day: eat. And more importantly, choose what not to eat. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 foods that may seem harmless, but are actually making your fatty liver worse. You might even think some of these are healthy, but once you understand what they're doing inside your body, you'll want to leave them off your plate for good. Let's start with a food that sneaks into so many meals without you even noticing it: white bread. Now, I know for a lot of us, white bread is a staple. Maybe it's toast in the morning, a sandwich for lunch, or a soft dinner roll at night. It's easy, familiar, and comforting. But here's the problem. White bread is made from refined flour, which your body breaks down into sugar incredibly fast, and too much sugar, especially the kind that comes from refined carbs, gets converted into fat in the liver. That's right. Even if you're not eating dessert, that slice of bread can raise your blood sugar almost as fast as a cookie. And when your liver is already struggling with too much fat, this adds fuel to the fire. What's worse, this kind of fat doesn't just sit there. It can cause inflammation, scarring, and eventually lead to liver damage. So what can you do instead? Well, switching to whole grains like oat bread, sprouted grain bread, or even rye can make a big difference. These options have more fiber, which slows down how sugar is absorbed into your bloodstream, and they don't spike your insulin levels the way white bread does. Think of it as giving your liver a much-needed break. All right, now let's move on to something that's a little harder to let go of, especially if you have a sweet tooth. I'm talking about sugary drinks, soda, sweetened iced tea, energy drinks, and even some of those so-called healthy fruit juices. These drinks might seem innocent. After all, it's just a little sugar, right? But the truth is, sugary beverages are some of the worst offenders when it comes to fatty liver. Why? Because of one particular type of sugar called fructose. Unlike glucose, which your body can use for energy, fructose is processed only in the liver, and when there's too much of it, the liver turns it straight into fat. This fat builds up over time, making fatty liver worse, and in many cases, it happens silently. You might not feel it right away, but that daily can of soda or tall glass of sweet tea could be slowly overwhelming your liver's ability to cope. And don't be fooled by labels that say natural, organic, or no added sugar. Some fruit juices, like apple or grape juice, have just as much fructose as soda. That's why it's often better to eat the whole fruit, which comes with fiber and nutrients that help balance things out, rather than drinking just the juice. If you're craving something refreshing, try infusing your water with slices of lemon, cucumber, or berries. Or go for unsweetened teas. Green tea, in particular, has been shown to help reduce fat in the liver. Small changes like this don't just protect your liver, they also help with energy, digestion, and even weight loss. Now, before we go further, I want to pause and say, this isn't about giving up everything you love. It's about understanding what your liver needs and giving it the tools to heal. After all, your liver is one of the only organs that can actually regenerate. That means if you start making changes today, your body can start repairing itself in ways you might not even imagine. And that brings us to the third food you might want to think twice about: processed meats. I'm talking about sausages, bacon, hot dogs, ham, those convenient salty staples that might find their way onto your breakfast plate or into your sandwich. Here's the thing: processed meats are often packed with saturated fat and nitrates, two ingredients that are not your liver's best friends. Saturated fat is known to increase fat storage in the liver, while nitrates have been linked to inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which can worsen fatty liver disease. Plus, these meats are usually high in sodium, which can contribute to high blood pressure and make it harder for your liver to filter toxins effectively. When your liver is already under pressure from fat buildup, the extra burden of inflammatory compounds and excess salt can tip the balance in the wrong direction. Instead, try lean sources of protein like grilled chicken, baked fish, lentils, or eggs. If you still enjoy the flavor of bacon, consider turkey bacon or plant-based versions with lower fat and sodium content. You don't have to give up your favorite dishes, you just have to prepare them in a way that supports your health. Now that we've uncovered the truth about white bread, sugary drinks, and processed meats, let's keep this momentum going. The foods you eat have a powerful impact on your liver's ability to function, and even small changes can lead to big improvements in how you feel: more energy, clearer thinking, better digestion. So, what comes next? Well, there are still a couple of common foods left on the list, ones that might surprise you just as much as the ones we've talked about today. Let's keep going, because your liver deserves the best chance to thrive, and knowing what to avoid is half the battle. Let's talk about margarine and some types of vegetable oils. These are often marketed as healthier alternatives to butter, but when you take a closer look at the ingredients, things start to look a little different. Many margarine products and cooking oils, especially those that are cheap and heavily processed, are loaded with something called trans fats, or high levels of omega-6 fatty acids. Now, your body does need some fats to stay healthy, but not all fats are created equal. Trans fats are the worst of the worst when it comes to liver health. They're made through a process called hydrogenation, which turns liquid oil into a solid, giving products a longer shelf life. That's great for grocery stores, but not so great for your body. Trans fats raise bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, increase inflammation, and yes, contribute directly to fat buildup in the liver. Even oils that don't contain trans fats can still be a problem if they're high in omega-6s and low in omega-3s. When that balance is off, your body leans toward a state of chronic inflammation, which is a big driver of fatty liver disease. Common culprits include soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, and some generic vegetable oil blends. The tricky part is these oils are often hiding in so many foods: frozen meals, packaged snacks, even salad dressings. That's why it helps to read labels when you can, and cook at home more often using healthier fats like olive oil, avocado oil, or a small amount of grass-fed butter. Try this. Next time you're making eggs or sautéing vegetables, swap out your usual oil for a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. It adds a rich flavor, it's easier on your liver, and it even contains antioxidants that help reduce inflammation. That simple swap can make your meals not just tastier, but healthier, too. Now, let's move to one more food that might sound healthy on the surface, but can actually make fatty liver worse. And that's store-bought baked goods, things like muffins, donuts, cakes, and even some healthy granola bars. I get it. Who doesn't enjoy a sweet treat with a cup of tea or coffee in the afternoon? It's one of life's simple pleasures, right? But when you're dealing with fatty liver, these packaged sweets can be surprisingly harmful. Not only are they often full of refined sugars and flours, but they also tend to include those unhealthy oils and fats we just talked about. Even worse, many of these baked goods contain a long list of additives and preservatives that your liver has to work extra hard to filter out. It's like giving your liver a double assignment, first dealing with the sugar overload, then trying to process the chemicals that come with it. And over time, that burden adds up. So what can you do if you still crave something sweet? Here's a little secret. You don't have to give up dessert completely. You just have to be smart about it. Try baking at home using natural sweeteners like mashed bananas, dates, or a bit of honey. You can use almond flour or oat flour instead of white flour, and choose healthy fats like coconut oil or olive oil for baking. One of my favorite go-to treats is a simple baked apple sprinkled with cinnamon and a drizzle of honey. Pop it in the oven and it tastes just like apple pie, without the heavy sugar and flour. Your taste buds are happy and your liver gets a break. By now, you're probably starting to see the pattern here. Fatty liver isn't just about how much fat you eat. It's about the type of fat, the type of sugar, and how much stress you're putting on your liver day after day. It's easy to think, oh, it's just one cookie, or it's just a little oil. But those little choices add up over time, especially after 60, when your body isn't as efficient at bouncing back. But here's the beautiful thing. Your liver has a remarkable ability to heal. Even small improvements in your diet can start turning things around, sometimes in just a few weeks. You might notice your energy improving, your digestion feeling smoother, even your belly feeling a bit less bloated. And here's something else to remember. You don't have to be perfect. Progress is more important than perfection. Maybe you can't change everything overnight, and that's okay. Start with 1 or 2 swaps. Cut back on white bread and try whole grains. Skip the soda and sip on lemon water. Trade the margarine for olive oil. Every choice you make is a step toward a healthier, more vibrant you. We've already covered some of the biggest culprits: refined carbs, sugary drinks, processed meats, unhealthy fats, and packaged sweets. But we're not done just yet. There's one more food that's often overlooked, and it plays a sneaky role in making fatty liver worse. It might even be sitting in your fridge right now, looking completely harmless. But when it comes to a fatty liver, this final food on our list could be tipping the scales in the wrong direction. Full-fat dairy products, especially cheese. Now don't get me wrong, I know cheese holds a special place in many of our hearts. A sprinkle on your salad, a slice with crackers, or a creamy bite with your favorite dish. It adds comfort, flavor, and familiarity. But here's what most people don't realize. Many full-fat dairy items, like cheese, heavy cream, and even some yogurts, are high in saturated fats. These fats are particularly tough on a liver already burdened with excess fat. When you eat too much saturated fat, your liver starts storing more fat within itself. Over time, this leads to inflammation and scarring, a condition known as non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH. It's one of the more serious stages of fatty liver disease and often happens silently. No pain, no warning, just slow, steady damage behind the scenes. Now, this doesn't mean you have to give up dairy completely. You can still enjoy it, but with a little more mindfulness. Choose low-fat or fat-free dairy options when possible. Greek yogurt, for example, can be a great substitute for cream in recipes, or a healthier snack when you need something filling. And if you love cheese, try opting for smaller portions of lighter cheeses like mozzarella or cottage cheese, or explore plant-based options that give you that creamy satisfaction without the same saturated fat load. One trick I like to share is using a mix of nutritional yeast and a dash of lemon on vegetables or popcorn. It gives a cheesy flavor, adds a boost of B vitamins, and is gentle on your liver. It's small swaps like this that make a big difference over time, and they don't feel like sacrifice. Now that we've walked through all 5 of these hidden troublemakers, white bread, sugary drinks, processed meats, unhealthy fats and oils, and full-fat dairy, you might be wondering, where do I even start? And that's a great question. Because the truth is, it's not just about knowing what's bad. It's about creating habits that are sustainable, gentle, and most of all, enjoyable. You've lived a full life, you've built routines, and food isn't just nutrition. It's part of your memories, your comfort, your connection to family and culture. That matters. So don't try to change everything overnight. Start with one food, one change. Maybe this week you swap your usual sandwich bread for a hearty whole grain. Next week, you try lemon water instead of sweet tea. These steps may seem small, but every time you make a choice that supports your liver, you're building momentum. And the benefits? They go far beyond just your liver. When your liver is healthy, you digest food more efficiently, your blood sugar stabilizes, your energy improves, and even your sleep can get better. You might notice that brain fog lifts, that your mood becomes steadier, and that your body feels more comfortable, less bloated, less sluggish. Now, let me be honest with you. Fatty liver isn't something you can fix with a magic pill, but you can manage it, and in many cases, reverse it, with lifestyle changes, especially your food choices. The power is in your hands, and that's an empowering thing. The best part? You don't have to go on this journey alone. So many people, especially those over 60, are dealing with the same challenges. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to ask questions. And it's never too late to take control of your health. If you've made it this far in the video, I want you to know you are doing something good for yourself. Just by learning, listening, and being open to change, you're already ahead of the curve. Your body may be aging, but your health is still in your hands. Every bite you take, every food you choose, it's a vote for the kind of future you want. So let's do a quick, natural recap. Not a list, just a gentle reminder of the choices that matter. You know now that white bread and refined carbs sneak sugar into your system. You know sugary drinks push your liver into fat storage mode. Processed meats and unhealthy oils make things harder, not easier. And while full-fat cheese might be delicious, moderation and smarter swaps can still let you enjoy your meals without the damage. And I want to leave you with this. Your liver wants to heal. It's one of the most forgiving organs in your body. Even if you've made mistakes in the past, even if you're only starting now, you're not too late. In fact, right now might be the perfect time. So, if this video spoke to you, even just a little, let me know in the comments. What food are you planning to swap out first? Or do you have a tip that's worked for you? Let's help each other out. We're all in this together, and your story could inspire someone else watching today. And hey, if you found this helpful, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people see it. And don't forget to subscribe for more practical, uplifting health advice made just for you. Remember, it's never too late to feel better, live lighter, and take back control of your health, one bite at a time. Here's to living your best life at any age.